Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Here Comes the Drama. I'm your host, Krista Innes. If it's your first time here, welcome. We are the podcast that dives into the chaos, hilarity, and unforgettable moments when it comes to weddings and events. And today's episode is packed with just that. I don't know if it's just my algorithm lately or if it's just because of the industry or type of content I share, but I'm getting so much wedding drama in my feed lately. I want to talk about a couple of things I've seen, and you guys can comment and see if you've seen it too. So, the first one I saw was a viral wedding story where a makeup artist was late, and this kind of blew up overnight. So, she's filming herself going to a wedding, saying how she just got a call from a frantic bride saying, "You're supposed to be here. Why aren't you here?" And as she's driving, she's saying, "I should be finishing her makeup right now, and I'm not even there." As you can guess, most people are in the comments saying, "You need to refund her the money. Why aren't you there? What's going on?" Turns out somehow something wasn't synced in her calendar, and so nothing notified her of that special day. So it took the bride calling her. Then she came back and said, "I gave her a partial refund. I still went there. I did the makeup, helped her out with other tasks that we had in the contract." She doesn't specifically say what those tasks are, so no one really knows, but people are angry in the comments. They are saying she should have fully refunded this bride. How dare her cause so much stress and anxiety the morning of, and also push back a whole timeline. And I completely agree with them. If I had to push it back that much, especially a vendor that's just there in the morning, typically to push back a timeline that much, especially the bride, not even like just starting an hour late for bridesmaids. You are starting after the bride should be done. And now my own wedding, I want to say I was the second to last to get my makeup done. It's typically recommended that the bride is one of the last ones, just so her makeup's the most fresh for walking out, for pictures, all that stuff. So I don't know how late she was, but this just seems like a rushed job. Now, she's defending herself in the comments saying it wasn't rushed. I'm used to doing this kind of thing. I'm used to being fast. And that's all well and good. But for me personally, as a bride, if I knew my person was late, pushing back the schedule, and now we're on a stricter timeline because of it, I would be hoping for probably 100% refund. Would I ask for that? Probably not. If she came and did her job, I think I'd be happy and just carry on with the day. Again, not trying to carry that anger or resentment with me and just try to enjoy it the best I can. But I don't know. I want to hear from you guys what you think you would do in this situation, what you would expect. Now, you guys know I've talked about this before. I film like batch film. So when this comes out, this episode, it probably happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I don't know if it's going to still be a thing, but it's just interesting to kind of discuss when is it acceptable to get a full refund or ask for a full refund. And this is something that should be outlined in the contract as well. Like for me, when I do day of coordinating, I'm typically there all day. I'm mostly there to assist the bride in helping her with running around doing random tasks, making sure we stay on schedule. And I think if I were there and the hairstylist wasn't there or the makeup artist wasn't there, I'd be calling them nonstop, saying like, "You need to get here now." I know like the last wedding I was a part of, we were on a pretty strict timeline. Of course, there's always some wiggle room, but I don't know. You guys gotta let me know in the comments what you guys would do about that. Okay, before I get too far into this, I'm like just chatting because it's really interesting. Here is this week's review. This is from Rachy Baby. It says, "Here for the tea. With all the segments that she started to develop, it would be helpful, I think, if she had some kind of sound effect or music cue so that we knew which segment was which, because I'm getting confused between all the different segments that she presents. I love them all, but it would be helpful to differentiate between them because they're all kind of feeling the same way." Okay, I actually love this comment because I said it in another podcast. Sometimes it's hard to get direct feedback from you guys. Sometimes I see it here and there, but to have it all in one place, this was great feedback. So I hope we did justice in this episode. We're always making little changes here and there just to make it easier and more fun to listen to. And yes, I know I'm randomly adding segments just because I'll hear of things that I want to talk about, but I'm like, where would that go? Where would that fit best? So I hope I'm not confusing you. Hopefully this makes more sense or flows better. If not, let me know. But also, thank you for the kind review. I'm so glad you're here for the tea. We've always got lots of tea, and there's still plenty more to come. And if you guys love the podcast, please share it with a friend or leave a review of your own. It's very helpful to getting the word out and having more people find it. Which, by the way, this is a side note, I just found out we are considered the top 8 podcast under leisure. So love that you guys are just lounging, listening to the podcast. You're able to enjoy it and get some entertainment out of it. That made me happy to hear. Okay, we are going to go into wedding dilemmas. This is my newest segment. Again, I only do this on solo pods, so when it's just me, I get so many wedding dilemmas sent to me in my DMs. These are just little things. They're not necessarily long stories. It might just be a little thing someone's going through right now or something that happened at their wedding and they want some advice. And I call it unprofessional solicited advice because, like I always say, I'm not a professional wedding planner. I just, give my advice on being a part of these weddings for so many times. So you can DM me or you can email me hello@KristaInnes.com and I will address them. Okay, here's this first one. It says, Krista, help. I'm helping plan a proposal and engagement party for my husband's cousin. His soon-to-be fiance's brother is planning to propose on Saturday. He, the cousin, is planning to propose on Friday. Okay, so brothers, I'm getting, one's proposing on Friday and one is on Saturday. I get it. So you're helping your husband's cousin, but then it'd be the brother-in-law is proposing the day after. Wow. Okay, I'm getting this all lined up. The timing of it being so close together wasn't intentional. I'm going to change the name really quickly here. Trevor, the cousin, called the brother to make sure it was okay because he would change it if he wanted to. The brother said, no, go for it. He didn't care at all and thought it was cool. Figured it would throw off his girlfriend even more. I could see that. Yeah, because there's other things going on, right? Now Trevor's soon-to-be fiance's mom and sister are trying to pressure him into moving the date. But he can't really because of all their weekends got booked up for the next month and he's already set out invitations for the engagement party and people are planning stuff. I told him to just tell the mom that he already talked to the brother and he was fine with it. And he's already putting plans in motion and doesn't want to have to move everything when he doesn't even know when he'll have a chance to do it again. I also told him to add my number to the bottom to say to reach out to me with any questions. Does this seem fair? The poor guy is so stressed and it's not even the wedding day yet. I'm stressed reading that because I'm confused who is who. No, okay. So it's 2 people basically in the same family. One's proposing Friday, one's Saturday. It sounds to me like the one on Friday was planned first, and then the Saturday one came along. The brother was like, yeah, that's totally fine. You can go ahead and do it. But now family's coming in giving their 2 cents. Here's my 2 cents. It's already planned. The brother said it was fine. He's the main one doing the proposal the next day. Is it kind of annoying to have it 2 days in a row? Sure, maybe. But when it comes down to it, the important people that are going to be there are going to be there. And sorry to the fiance's mom and sister, but it's already set. Invitations have been set out. People are planning on being there. And I think giving all this unsolicited advice to him to move it is only going to stress him out even more. So at the end of the day, you can only plan so much. If people can make it, they can make it. If they can't, they can't. I know it's hard to think that way, but especially I feel like the older we get, I know my husband and I always talk about like how busy our schedules can be sometimes. To try to get together with friends these days is so ridiculous and crazy. Like we're like, okay, let's plan like 3 months in advance because it's like you got stuff with kids, stuff with family, stuff with work, stuff with time off, whatever that looks like. It's so hard to get together. So if you are lucky enough to find a weekend where you can have something and you get invitations out, just let go and let God. Just see what happens and just trust that it's going to work out. So that would be my advice for this first dilemma. I hope that helps, and I hope the engagements go amazing. Okay, here we go. Dilemma number 2. This is something that had already happened to her, but just to give my 2 cents. Okay. About 30 minutes before my wedding, I was in the bridal room with my bridesmaids, just hanging out, taking some breaths, etc. My sister-in-law brings my melting down 3-year-old niece into my bridal room for a full 10 minutes. My niece is 3, so I can't put much blame on her being a child, but I still hold a grudge against my sister-in-law for thinking the bridal room. There were several other open rooms within the church, was the place for her to bring a screaming child. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Here's my take on this. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know what her intention was bringing her daughter in the room while she was melting down, especially like for me now as a mother of a toddler. Into a calm environment, I would not be bringing my toddler into, especially if she was having a meltdown or upset about something. I'm very like, let's pull ourselves out of a situation. Let me get down on their level and talk to them. And again, this is, of course, not a parenting thing. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But what I'm saying is, I just personally, I feel like that would overwhelm the 3-year-old too, to bring them in a crowded room with a bunch of people. As the bride, I don't know if I would say anything, but this I think is where your bridesmaids would come in. And I feel like that's when they should kind of step up and be like, hey, do you think maybe we could like step in this room over here? There's a really awesome room that's quiet. It's really pretty. And just kind of like help distract. Instead of feeling like you're pushing the sister-in-law out, make it seem like a more comfortable and the ideal choice for them to bring the niece to. That way, everyone's kind of happy, right? You're like, hey, wait, there's this really cute room over here. Why don't you bring her over here? I'll bring some snacks in and it's going to be okay. That way, you're like more assisting. Because, yeah, right before walking down the aisle, you want to kind of calm yourself, center yourself. You don't want a lot of commotion. I myself, like I recently just came across the picture right before walking out. I was by myself. I was by myself in the little bridal room. We basically, I don't know how to describe it. There's like a hallway where we had a bridal suite, and then the next to it was the bathroom. That's where all of us girls got ready at the venue. And so when everyone was lining up, I locked myself in there until everyone was gone, and then my dad came and got me. And it was just like really calming for me to be there by myself, take some breaths, and really just like center. So I can totally sympathize with this bride to kind of feel like, my adrenaline was kind of raised right before all of that. So yeah, that's what I would do in the future. But of course, you can't go back and change it. So you have to kind of make peace with it eventually. I know it sucks that it happened, but focus on the positive and the good moments that you did have during your wedding day. All right, again, that's the Wedding 911. If you guys have any dilemmas or situations you would like me to address on a future episode of the podcast, you can DM me on mostly Instagram's the best place to DM me. Other platforms, it's really hard to find. Or you can email me hello@KristaEnnis.com. Hey drama lovers, big news. My book, Here Comes the Drama, A Ferris and Sloane Story, is officially out now. If you've been following their wild wedding saga online, this is the full story, packed with messy twists, sharp banter, family chaos, and all the heart you've come to love. And judging by your messages and posts, you're loving it too. Huge thanks to everyone who's already grabbed a copy early and shared it on social media. Your support means everything. If you haven't read it yet, now is the time. Head to KristaEnnis.com/book or click the link in the show notes. It's available in both print and ebook. Grab your copy before the spoilers start showing up in the comment sections, because trust me, you'll want to experience every jaw-dropping moment for yourself. Okay, next section, red flag versus green flag, a wedding edition. The bride gives her bridesmaids strict weight loss goals for the wedding photos. If you can see my face, no, that's a complete red flag. We are not giving nutrition plans or weight loss plans to our friends, anyone we care about, anyone we don't care about. We're just not doing that. It's not our job. Okay, that's how I feel about that. Which I've talked about before, but a hot take for weddings. Let's get rid of the whole like shedding for the wedding. Sure, if you want to work out for your own wedding, fine, but the wedding industry of losing weight, no, let's stop. The couple makes guests pay for their own meals at the reception because it's about being there, not the food. Red flag. No. Your partner wants to skip a honeymoon so you can save money for his dream car. Red flag. I understand maybe skipping a honeymoon because you want to do a down payment on a house or you want to put it towards something together. But if it's just to save money for something that suits one of the people in the relationship, I don't think that's right. A bridesmaid drops out 2 weeks before the wedding, but still plans to attend as a guest. I think that's a green flag. I mean, we don't know the reason for her dropping out, but I would say if she communicated it to you and said, hey, it's getting too expensive, or I don't really like the dress you picked, or I'm not comfortable in a dress. I'm not going to be able to make it in time to all the wedding events to be a bridesmaid. Whatever that looks like, if she's communicating it, I think that's a green flag. Communication wins. She still wants to come as a guest. So let's do it. The photographer brings an assistant who turns out to be their boyfriend, and he eats and drinks with guests. Okay, so I don't think this is a red flag or a green flag. A lot of times photographers do bring assistants, but it will be in their contract if they do bring an assistant. However, if they are a staff member, like if they're a vendor, so a photographer and an assistant, and that's in your contract, you should be feeding them. This was a thing I saw, and actually I talked to some vendors at a wedding recently, but this is a wild thing I saw for how people have been treated at weddings before. You as a vendor for a wedding, if you were there during wedding hours, so if you're a makeup artist and you leave before the actual ceremony starts, that's different. But if you are a photographer, a wedding planner, coordinator, videographer, DJ, you should have a place setting at a table and be fed like everybody else and be eating technically with the guests. Drinks, you should not be drinking any alcoholic beverages, of course. I feel like that should go without saying. Even one time I was invited to stay as a guest after, and I just didn't feel right about having wine with dinner. I was just like, I'm not going to, but thank you. So definitely needs to be established in the contract. If they just bring someone randomly, it's not in their contract, you'd have to decide. I mean, maybe they realize last minute, like, oh, they're not going to be able to get all the shots without this other person. I've been to a lot of weddings where they come with another person. So make sure it's clear in your contract. Eating with guests, I think, is okay. It just depends, again, if they're doing their job as well. Did you get photos at the end of the day? Then I think we're fine. The groom's sister shows up in a white jumpsuit and says, "It's fine, I'm not wearing a veil." Red flag. I mean, it's one of those things, again, where it depends on your relationship. If you know she's doing it to be rude or make a scene, then yeah, it's a red flag. If you're like, it's a black and white party, wear whatever you want, then whatever. The couple bans phones and cameras at the wedding, even during family photos. I wouldn't say it's a red flag, but it is a little controlling. You can't expect everybody to just like keep their phones locked away in a box. The bride asks everyone to wear neutral colors so she pops in photos, including the moms. I think that's fine. I don't think it's red or green, but color schemes can be hard for people to follow because then they have to go out and buy a specific dress that matches and goes along with it, which is another expense for people, and they might not come because of it. But yeah, if you are a bride and you're like, hey, can everyone wear this color? You have every right to put that out there on your invitation. Okay, here is our wedding story submission of the week. My eyes are watering, not because I'm crying, but because the light is so bright and sometimes it just gets so hot in here. Here we go. In 2017, my husband and I eloped and got married on the beach. It was small and intimate, just my 2 adult children and my friend who officiated the ceremony. Our plan was to keep it secret for 2 years and then have a big wedding celebration. That didn't last long. 2 weeks later, we told my family and then his on Father's Day. No one seemed excited except for his dad and brother-in-law. To say they didn't like me would be an understatement. I'm a loud, outspoken white girl and his family is very Latino. At the time, his brother was getting married in December. This was back in June, and I was just so happy about finally being married. We were both nearly 50. At the weekly Friday night family dinners, I'd share little bits of our wedding plans. One night, his older sister told me, "This is Christina's time, not yours. Don't talk about your wedding." Who's Christina? I'm so confused. Who's Christina? Okay, maybe we'll find out. Only recently, after being diagnosed with autism and ADHD, did I understand that I was oversharing because I was trying to fit in. Whoa, I can relate to that. But I never really did. They didn't talk about things I was interested in. They were quiet, reserved, and I was loud. Christina, the bride-to-be, okay, here we go, was marrying my husband's youngest brother, so her soon-to-be sister-in-law. His mom completely played favorites. In Mexican tradition, different people sponsor parts of the wedding. One pays for the flowers, another for the cake, someone else even buys the rings. I didn't realize these sponsors are considered part of the official wedding party. So when Christina had a wedding party only, bachelorette party, and didn't invite me, even though the sister-in-law from Arizona was there, I was angry. I started to notice how often we were being left out, and I got frustrated with my husband for never standing up for me. It became a constant argument every time it happened. Flash forward to the day before the wedding, I was in a group chat where everyone was talking about going to the nail salon, and once again, I wasn't included. But wait, she's in the group chat, So are they just being like, hey, are you all going to be there? And then purposely not including her? If I was in a group chat and everyone was talking about going to the nail salon, I would just assume I was invited too. Unless they're like talking about it like in past tense, like, oh, can't wait to go get our nails done. Or are you going to be at the nail salon tomorrow? And then specifically calling out each person and not saying her name. I'm wondering why they just don't like her so much because she's just different or what. I can also see, obviously, in a lot of my stories, there's couples that elope and then they come back and tell the family, right? And so to me, obviously, I haven't finished the story. They seem like they could be pretty hurt that they weren't included, which at the end of the day, the bride and groom, or the person that's in this story and her husband, they're in their 50s. They are adults. They've been adults for a while. So if they want to run off and get married, that's their choice. She has adult children. It was something that they wanted to do that was intimate. But if he comes from a large family where they like to celebrate together, that can be seen as hurtful. So it seems to me like they might be holding this grudge against them because they chose to do this without including them or allowing them to be a part of the day. I was hurt and texted the group saying so, not realizing the bride herself was in the chat. She started the message, started crying, and told everyone what I said. Suddenly, I was the villain. His mother said I brought shame to the family. Wait, I'm still so confused. They're all in a group chat talking about this nail salon appointment. So she's just saying that she's hurt that she wasn't included, but now she's mean for saying that? I feel like I'm missing something. No matter how many times I apologized and explained I didn't know the bride was in the chat, no one believed me. And also, why would it matter that the bride was in the chat? They're all in a chat talking about it. So she just said, hey guys, I feel hurt about this. And now they're mad the bride was in the chat too. I don't know. Okay. My husband and I had a huge fight, and I said I wasn't going to the wedding. Then his sister called me with their mom secretly in the car and started yelling. At that point, I was done. Still, the wedding happened and everything seemed fine on the surface. So I'm guessing she went to the wedding. It just says, still, the wedding happened. So I'm guessing she went. When it came time to plan our big wedding, we met with the priest and mapped out how our families would be involved. I'm the youngest of 6, with 18 nieces and nephews, while he is one of 5. We wanted to include as many kids as possible. During a family dinner, we began sharing details about the ceremony. Suddenly, his mother stood up and started yelling in Spanish. I could only pick up a few words, but it was clear that she was furious. I walked out to take the dog for a walk to cool off. My husband followed me and told me, it's you and me, that's all that matters. She was still holding the other wedding against me, saying I had disrespected his sister. I am so confused why she thinks she disrespected the sister, because it was just a group chat that she was in. Then they were talking about going to the nail salon. They kept excluding her from all these events, and she just said how she felt. I've seen in a lot of stories, though, where as soon as someone stands up for themselves, they're saying like, hey, you left me out of this, that's seen as attack. Someone that has not been communicated with before or called out on certain behaviors will see those kinds of things as an attack. And it sounds like they're still holding a grudge against the couple for getting married secretly. And so they're just holding it on. It's just kind of growing and growing and growing. I decided to speak directly to his parents. I wrote out what I wanted to say in English, had a friend translate it, and then read it aloud to her on the phone. Since my husband's Spanish is terrible, his mom was cold and dismissive. My apologies meant nothing. She even told my husband, none of your other girlfriends were ever a problem. Yikes. Oh no. I'm still confused where this problem started. Like, I want to know what happened before they went off and got married. Was there a relationship with his family? How did they all treat each other then? What happened? It always amazes me. I don't know if amaze is the right word, but things go bad so quickly. A couple of the brides I've talked to are like, yeah, we got along great. Everything was fine. And then we got engaged and I saw a new side of her. Or they went wedding dress shopping and she had to have a white dress. This personality or something that they're like festering or holding on to just comes out of nowhere. And they're like, this is not the person I knew before we got engaged. I would like to hear from more mother-in-laws. I want to hear other perspectives. I always hear, not in this scenario, I'm not calling this bride out because I feel so badly for her, but I get, because mother-in-laws will message me and they'll be like, this is terrible. I would never treat my daughter-in-law, son-in-law this way. On the other end, I get mother-in-laws that'll say like, you're only showing terrible mother-in-laws, but most of my stories are from brides, so I just get their perspective. But I would love to hear from mother-in-laws and tell me other perspectives so we can share them. 6 months before our wedding, my husband had a health scare at the same time his brother was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Wow. His brother's case turned out to be worse than expected, and everyone panicked, assuming my husband had it too. We didn't have insurance at the time, but we made a plan. I tried to keep things positive, telling his sisters to stop with the doom and gloom and sending them articles about how treatable prostate cancer can be. A month before the wedding, none of his family had RSVP'd. He kept following up with his older brother, finally called and said the family didn't want us to have our church wedding, that they didn't think I supported my husband. So they're just all gonna not go. Oh my gosh, that is honestly shocking because I feel like in a lot of these stories I read, they still end up going. There's a lot of hurt here. For once, my husband stood up for me. He told them he knew I had his back and that I did more for him than any of them ever did. Eventually, they RSVP'd, but I was furious. I told my husband that after the wedding, we were going to need a serious sit down because enough was enough. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but that would stress me out. Knowing all these people that hate me and just told my husband they didn't want to come and celebrate us because they don't think I support him would break my heart. That would like rip me to shreds. So it's like, how do you enjoy your wedding day knowing your future husband's family, or I guess it's her husband already, husband's family doesn't like you? That would just be so uncomfortable. Then came the wedding day. Every woman in his family showed up wearing black. Oh no, that's intentional. I talked about this not that long ago. Like, I've worn black to weddings before, but like certain weddings, if you're doing it as a guest and it's like a wedding style dress, it's fine. But when every woman's wearing it, that's a reason. That's a reason. His mother refused to take photos with me at the church, which caused chaos with the photographer. His siblings avoided pictures too. My kids gave speeches with thinly veiled references to people not accepting us as a couple. Ooh. At one point, his dad pulled me aside to dance out of his wife's view. Interesting. I'm guessing they're still married. It's his mom and dad. So it makes me think that the dad does not support how the wife is treating her. Later during the family group photos, I jumped in between his parents and smiled for the camera, putting my arms around them both. Oh, that's a ballsy move. Girl, I love it. I love that for you. That couldn't be me. That could not be me. Oh, wow. She's just like, we're family now. I'm here. They didn't stay at the hotel afterward, didn't come to the bar that night, and skipped breakfast the next morning. It was awful. I need to know more about this husband and wife here. My husband was heartbroken. He came from a big family, yet not one of them celebrated with us. Oh, and before the wedding, when I asked Christina for a list of family addresses, she kept dodging me. When we finally asked his mom who she wanted to invite, she said no one. So my family ended up being about 75% of the guest list. We separated 18 months after the wedding. No, I did not see that coming. Okay, so we don't know if the separation had to do with the wedding, but here are my guesses just based on reading this. I feel like the pressure of the family got to be too much. We don't know anything within their relationship, but she talks about them fighting a lot and this taking a toll on them. And that's the thing, that's what they say is like, when you marry into a family or you marry someone, you are marrying their family. I mean, obviously it depends on how close they are with their family, how close the family lives. But if you're walking into something like this where they don't like you right off the bat, they make you the villain no matter what you do, it's going to be hard. And your partner has to actively choose you every day over your family. And if they're going to make comments and they're going to show up to your wedding all wearing black and make negative comments about you, they're better off just not coming. And he has to be able to decide what's more important to him. And again, we don't know why they separated, but I would put big money on it's because of the family dynamic. He probably ultimately was like, hey, this isn't going to work. I can't cut my family out. They don't like you. We're fighting all the time. I'm not happy, whatever that is. I'm so sorry. I hope you find happiness. And gosh, that's like a stressful situation. I hope you guys are both better off now because of it, and that you can both find happiness beyond that. All right, that was a wild story. It kind of reminded me of like Ferris and Sloan, for anyone that's read it, the story that's now my book, not trying to push it on you, but Kate immediately not liking his girlfriend, now fiance, now wife, just right off the bat, and nothing they can do can fix it. But, spoiler alert, Ferris ultimately chooses Sloane because he sees that what his mom is doing is not right. So, I don't know. I want you guys to weigh in, though. Tell me what you guys think about the situation. What do you think happened? I'm curious. I'm curious about it. Last segment is our confessions. I know I don't always do these, but I like to throw them in here every once in a while. These are confessions people send me on Instagram. So here we go. One bridesmaid I regret asking pushed my maid of honor out from as many pictures as she could. I'm wondering, do you regret asking this bridesmaid before or after this happened? Because if you regretted it from the beginning, then it's a sign that we should maybe just dismiss people. Yikes. Yeah. I've heard of people asking someone early on and then later on being like, I think I should not have them in the wedding. And you know what? Let's normalize it. It's kind of like a job, right? If you're their boss and you hired them, if they're no longer doing the work or just something's not vibing, you can be like, hey, I don't think it's going to work anymore. Maybe you can just come as a guest. Because that sounds like there's already some issues there. All right. My husband had two best men. One punched the other because his girlfriend fell and helped her to stand. That sounds like some real, I'm trying to say this in like a clean way. Small energy. Sorry, I'm just going to say it. What? Just because the other best man helped your girlfriend because she fell, you're that insecure that you have to punch him in the face? I would hope that if any of my girlfriends fell near my husband, that he would help them up. And I think my friends' husbands and boyfriends and partners wouldn't be mad about that. This just reads like some really insecure guy. Okay, got kicked out and almost punched for refusing to hug someone. What kind of weddings are we going to, guys? No. What is happening here? I'm so sorry. A groom's aunt hip checked mother of bride's best friend as the best friend was saying goodbye. Wow, these are some violent and touchy people. One of my guests peed in the venue driveway at my wedding. Cool. Didn't know a winter wedding was outdoors and wore a cream jacket, looked like I wore white. That's hard when it's like you have to wear a coat outside and you're not thinking about it. I've seen that happen and it's innocent. I mean, if you're wearing a coat and there's photos outside, what are you supposed to do? I don't know. It happens. Someone opened and drank a gifted bottle of champagne from our gift table. We had an open bar. That's just rude. That sounds like someone was already drunk and thought it would be funny. Told another guest off for talking on the phone during the best man's speech. I mean, good for you. If someone's calling you during a wedding reception, get out of there. Go outside. You don't need to be sitting there taking a phone call. That's just phone call etiquette, though. I honestly, one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm at a grocery store or some kind of store checking out and the person next to me is checking out and they're just blabbing on their phone while the poor cashier is like, hi, how are you? Thanks for shopping, whatever. And they're just talking like, yeah, whatever, bag it. I'm like, no, get off your phone. It's not that hard. But I'm also someone that's never on my phone. Like, I hate talking on the phone with a passion. If someone's calling me, I am assuming it's detrimental. Like, someone's in the hospital, it's bad. I don't know. Is that a millennial thing? Someone tell me. Okay, last one. I know I'm having so much fun reading these. Night before the wedding, these drunk girls woke us up being so loud, so I, maid of honor, yelled at them. You go, girl. Sounds to me like you were in a hotel. These things happen. I just assume when I stay at a hotel, I'm bound to get woken up by something, whether it's a kid running down the hall, drunk people getting home late. It happens at hotels all the time. I don't know. If it just happens here and there, sure. But I have been to some where it's like nonstop, running down the hall, banging on doors. Like, okay, like let's calm down a little bit. All right, those are some wild confessions, wild story. Thanks for hanging out with me this week. If you love this episode, please do me a huge favor. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot, share it on your socials, whatever it is. Tag me. I love seeing it. I love seeing where you're tuning in from, whether it's on your commute, while you're working, or just relaxing at night, because apparently we're a top leisure podcast, which is funny because people always comment how I help. I don't know if help's the right word. I raise your blood pressure while sharing these stories. So I'm really sorry. Maybe I should start doing more like calming stories. Would you guys like that? Some more like relaxing and calming romantic comedy stories. We can mix it up. And don't forget to share the podcast by leaving a quick review It's the best way to help people discover the show. So if you have suggestions or stories or a wedding dilemma you want me to cover, please submit them at the link in the show notes. I also have my Google form where you can submit wedding stories. I have hundreds and hundreds that I'm slowly working my way through. They help inspire many of the skits and stories that I share on my podcast and YouTube as well. But again, thanks for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye now.